Once again, for those of you that don't know me, and I think we're all getting to know each other pretty well by now, my name is Ben Fisk. I'm a liaison officer with Team 3. I'm joined here with partner Brandon Eager. As usual, we're here to give an operations update. I will draw your attention to the map. We've got a new map this morning. As we had promised, we're starting to show black line, and we'll explain that through the operations presentation. So as we've been doing, if you could please hold your questions just to the operations part of the fire. We'll get all that taken care of so we can get staff back in the field, and then we can open it up to whatever issues or concerns that you may have. So with that, let's go ahead and get started with operations.
Good morning, Dave Gesser, Operations Training. So yesterday we had a really good day, and as you can see, the black line here, we're calling 20% contained at this time. This lower stuff you see here was what they were looking at for a contingency when we had the winds and stuff going, that we couldn't go direct on this fire, so they were backing off and prepping these road systems, and then they did put in a dozer line right here. So that was just contingency, and then when the winds died down, we were able to go direct on this. So then we'll start with the heavier stuff. We'll go with Zulu and X-ray. So, or Alpha, Zulu, and X-ray. They did yesterday a really good job in there. They were able to get hand line put in here. They burned out. They had to burn out a little bit of a pocket of fuel in there because they had a little bit of an indirect line, which means the fuel weren't right up against, the burn wasn't right up against the line. So they burned out. It was about a 20-acre piece yesterday afternoon. Moving into the X-ray and Zulu, they were able, as you can see, they got dozer lines put in here, and they were doing a little bit of burning in there yesterday afternoon. They were going to finish that burnout last night, but the winds came in, were changing to a northerly component, so we opted not to burn there last night. We had engines patrolling in here all night last night and mopping up and securing that, so they'll finish that off today. They have just a little piece, about less than a quarter mile to close this gap up right here, and they'll have line around the bottom here. With Victor and Tango, they also did some retardant in here yesterday afternoon, and we're flying some of the heavies, and air ops will go into that here in a little bit. They were able in here, they got a 2,000-foot hoseway established in here, got line in, so they're mopping that up. So they're doing really good progress in here. This morning, you probably saw some concentration of smoke. What it was interior in here, burning out some pockets of fuels and some heavies. And they had bone piled a lot of heavy fuels, which was laying on the ground so that they could consume a lot better. So that was that concentration of smoke you were seeing this morning. Moving on, you can see the dozer line that they got on over here in Victor. They were able to get line in totally on here, and then they cold trailed and hot spotted, which means they kind of walked around the perimeter here, feeling with their hands, looking for any heat source, and then they were establishing that there. Same thing along here, they were able to get some dozer line, and it was road systems in there, so they were getting everything taken care of in here really well. I did get a chance to fly yesterday over the entire fire, took a look at things. I know there's been a lot of questions on livestock. The concentration that we saw of livestock, we gridded this pretty well. The concentration was here in this little horseshoe of livestock that we saw, and then some livestock down in here. There was, here and there, a little bit of livestock in here, but it was in the meadows. Mainly we saw a lot of cows, horses. Our safety did come across and ran into a herd of sheep up in here. He actually got held up by the dogs. They wouldn't let him out of the truck. So. And also, one of our soups that we had out there was driving back in one of the roads here on a ATV, and the dogs there wouldn't allow him to get anywhere close to that herd of sheep that were there. It was a flock. So for 10 minutes he was stopped there because the dogs wouldn't let him go anywhere. But everything's looking really good. They're going to continue progress today, and hopefully, like I said, they're gonna get this piece tied in. We'll have a night shift out there again tonight patrolling it. But everything's going really well. Any questions? Thank you.
Real quick, I know we've got a few new faces, so again, I'd like to get this sign-in sheet circulated just for those new folks that have not signed in before. We just want to make sure that we get your information, so. Okay, we'll go with air operations.
I don't know if this is a proper time to ask this question. I'm from Nashville, community. We are requesting to proper protocol for livestock rescue. So, are there some spots where, I guess it's determined by you or management, so. The other thing is they're asking about maybe dropping some, they're concerned about vegetation. There's not, they can drop some hay or piles of water. That's the main concern of this community.
Yes, sir, we are. We're working directly with Rose. We've got a couple that we're scheduling for today. One of them being in the Whiskey Lake area. So yes, we'll be getting with you and we'll be scheduling. Please have your request for livestock rescue go through Rose in the EOC. She will then contact myself or Don. We'll get with operations and we'll do our best to schedule a time where we can get you folks in there and take care of your livestock. Yes. Got to go. Okay, air operations.
All right, good morning, everyone. Dan with Air Operations. I did think I mentioned yesterday we did release just a few helicopters, and that was, a long discussion with operations. We felt that that was appropriate to help reduce costs, but still had an appropriate amount of aircraft to support the folks on the ground and meet our needs. And if anything else should happen, we still had enough aircraft where we could respond to something outside the line or help the nation with a new start. So we still have our two helibases, one in Gallup and then one at Window Rock. We're trying to consolidate those two, but right now we still have real big helicopters that don't fit too well here in Window Rock. So that's why we have two different helibases set up at this time. Then as Dave mentioned, we did drop some air tankers in this area just to help support the guys on the line. It's just, precautionary, and so they can get in closer to the fire's edge and go direct. So we had air tankers yesterday. We had all the heavy helicopters working on the fire. We supported the fire with a couple of recons. Like Dave said, he was up over the fire, taking an aerial view of the fire, and that helps get a really good view of the fire. It's a lot easier to see it from the air and get the big picture than just on the ground. So everything on the air operations side is going real well. Like I said, we're just trying to balance appropriate needs with cost containment. So we know cost is a big issue, so we want to make sure we're looking at both those. Is there any questions for me this morning? Mom, there's got to be at least one question. All right, must have answered them all. Thank you. Have a good day. Safety.
Good morning, Dwayne Chapman, Safety Officer for the team here. Yesterday was a good day for the firefighters on the ground. No reported injuries yesterday. Today is another day. There's going to be a lot of talk to the firefighters this morning. It's like, let's keep heads up and let's watch out for the aircraft and just the traffic and all that stuff out there. So other than that, that's all I have for safety. Any questions?
Thank you. Okay, now I'd like to bring up Rose White here for a few comments from your Emergency Operations Center. Yes, sir.
I know on the first day you had a meteorologist. Are they still on board?
Okay, this mic looks a lot more sophisticated than yesterday. Okay, so some of the things that I just wanted to share with everyone is that yes, we are going to be working out those the livestock issues. We're also working on a number of other things out of the EOC. As we mentioned yesterday, the EOC itself itself is located at the second floor of the end-up building, and the number that we are using now is 505-371-8416, 8415, and 8417. The other thing that I want to share with everyone is that we're calling for a pause on all donations, just due to the fact that we are getting overwhelmed and inundated with donations. The Command Center and the Navajo Nation would like to thank everyone for all of the donations, but at this moment, we need to get a handle on everything that we have that's coming in. These things are coming in by air and by truckload now. So again, we're just asking that we do have a pause on all donations until we get a handle on everything that's coming in. So the other thing that we wanted to share with everyone is the Monetary Donations Fund. And the Monetary Donations Fund has again been set up through the United Way. And we're also making sure that we share with everyone that at this time that we know that we're working with all the different teams that they have not seen any animals in distress again, but we are helping with making sure that we work closely with the team. And again, all resource requests, all orders, everything again has to go through our EOC and through myself as Incident Command. Thank you. Question?
You said that put a pause in the donation, does that mean that this is going to take so much stuff around?
No, the things that are already en route, that's what we're going to go ahead and finish, but we're asking everybody else from this day forward not to be sending anything else.
So you're going to send out an official?
We have it here. We sent a press release. We sent a press release out last night. We'll make sure that all the media share that, and then also, again, we ask that all of you guys share that too, with our constituents and with the chapters and with everybody that we have. Okay? And then afterwards, what we can do is, these guys need to get going, but we can do our own internal Navajo Nation updates after.
Okay, we'll wrap it up with our Incident Commander Bea.
All right, good morning, everyone.
Morning.
It's been a good day, as you can see. Well, it's a good day today, but it's been a good couple days in our operations, as you can see on the map. Remember when I told you, the more black that we can get on here, the better. And so we are definitely increasing that black, and I anticipate that we'll increase that black significantly for tomorrow's meeting. So when you see the map tomorrow, you should see more black on there. So that's just due to great efforts with the firefighters out there. They're working hard to try and get this wrapped up. But given that, our meteorologist has said that we're going into a period of the typical pre-monsoon weather. Hot, dry, that type of weather. So we're anticipating that if we should happen to get any sort of fire that's outside of the containment lines, that we could have problems with that. So, but we're not really anticipating that. But the weather is not going to, at least we don't have the winds like we did. So I think we're in good shape there. But we are going into, that typical period where the weather gets hot and dry. But we still have a lot of work out there as far as wrapping that up, mopping up the edges, making sure that we can ensure that fire's not going to spread anymore. But we also have some rehab of the fire lines. So we need to fix the fire lines that we put in. Once it's contained, once the fire's edge is cool, then we need to go back and repair the damage that has been done. So that work is going to be continuing. You may not see a lot of smoke in the air, but there's still a lot of work that's going to be going on the ground. So given that, we are continuing with going to the chapter meetings. There are several around, and we will continue to make an appearance there to share with the community members the update on the fire. So with that, thanks to all that has been involved in this in this effort. We're making great strides, and I look forward to getting this wrapped up within the next week or so. Any questions?
Can we get a listing of all the fire crew that's out there that are helping? Because this morning as we're coming in, we noticed the Zoom hot shots and Payson hot shots were traveling out. Probably going to or something.
Well, and that's a good point. So that's just also another indicator of where we're at on this fire. We're able to release some resources to let them go home so that they can get ready for the next fire. So we've released 4 crews this morning, a couple engines, and so that just means that those areas that those resources, those crews we're working in, is looking pretty good. So as you can see, as we get black in here, we don't need as many resources on the ground. So, which is a good thing. So yes, 3 hotshot crews left, Payson, Zuni, and Mount Taylor. And also the Zuni Type 2 IA also left this morning. And we anticipate some additional release of resources over the next several days as we get areas secured on the fire. Any other questions?
Can you just clarify what you mean by wrapping up the fire the next week? Do you mean containment or?
You know, it's funny, firefighters have their own language, and I apologize for that, so hopefully we don't confuse you. When I say wrapping it up, I mean being able to get the fire in a shape. It may not be full containment, but it will be a higher percentage of containment that we can give it back to the local unit or another organization, another incident management team, a smaller incident management team to be able to take that on. Did I explain that? Okay, great.
Just out of curiosity, is there a value on how much has been spent so far today?
We are tracking costs, and as of last night, we were right around the 3.5 million.
I brought my boss and he's got an inspector.
Oh, great. And, and I will tell you that the majority of those costs on any fire is going to be the aircraft use, and it's going to be crews. Because we've had 21 crews on this fire, 20-person crews. So that's a significant amount. And then just the aviation use with the air tankers, helicopters. It is an expensive resource, but I would tell you it's a very efficient resource when you use the aircraft with the ground crews to be able to get around it. And this is also with the cost. This is why we're reducing the resources. Once we get areas contained, we're releasing as soon as we can so we can help contain those costs. Any other questions?
New Mexico Highway 134.
So the concern with New Mexico Highway 134 is access into the fire. Now, we can open up the highway because we don't have any operations right along the highway, but how many roads, and you guys know this area, how many roads lead into the fire off Highway 134? 2? I mean, how many of the 2-track roads take off? Okay, so that is our concern with keeping people out from the fire. So it's easier for us just because of with the people that we have and the staffing. It's easier to control access into the fire from the public because there's still safety concerns in there if we block off the road. Now we understand it's an inconvenience for you, and we are looking at that. So every day, our operations are looking at that to see if we are to a point where we can open up that road for you guys. But that is our main concern right now. Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. 2 questions. Have you had any problems with people going into the area? And also, who is going to be paying for that $3.5 million?
Well, as far as having your first questions, have we had problems with people coming? Initially, we have had problems with people. When this, especially on the days that we had the heavy winds with this wind going down in here, there were people going into that area. And we didn't know. I mean, you guys know the road system, the access into that fire better than we do. So there were people getting into that. And then with the type of conditions that we had out there, that is certainly a concern of ours to make sure that your safety is paramount for us. So, and as far as who's paying for the 3.5, it is my delegation, my boss will be the BIA. So it will be paid through the federal funds that way.
And that's on the fire side, right? The 3.5.
Correct. Yep. Well, again, thanks for coming. I think these meetings are very important for information sharing and then also coordination as we go further into this with the livestock. So thanks again.
Okay, as Bea mentioned, we're still going to be here a while. We still got a lot of work, so we're going to continue, as I mentioned on day one, we will continue with these meetings as long as they're of value to you. So let's plan on tomorrow morning, same place, same time.